But we've gone 4-stroke this afternoon, so this Norton twin looks really quite something. It looks just as good as Brian's Jawa did. So Brian, you're obviously not just a 2-stroke man, you like a bit of everything. So tell us a bit about this Norton, the story behind it, and anything interesting about it.
Yeah, well, the previous bike, you know, obviously being a factory supported bike, this is the other end of the spectrum. This started out life a 1956 standard 600cc twin-cylinder Dominator. I'm the 4th owner of this, and the bike still has the original engine, gearbox, frame and registration number when it left the factory. 2 brothers bought it in 1962, started to use it to go to and from work. Then they decided they'd have a go at racing. So they rode it to Cadwell Park, taped the lights up and raced it, as you did in those days. That's how a lot of people did it. They entered it in the production class, which you don't get nowadays. They raced it, and then they rode it back home, as long as you didn't fall off it, and they rode it to work the next day. And then the following weekend, one of the other brothers would take it out and go to Mallory Park on it. And that was fine while they were doing all the sort of the production racing, but like everything else, they wanted to go faster. So between 62 and 72, they started to modify it, and it started to get a 650 SS head on it, twin carbs on it, high compression pistons, different cams, better brakes. Then they started disposing of the standard mud guards, and they bought the aluminium tank made by a company of Lighter, which I've still got the invoice for, which back in 71 was £48. You know, but anyway, yeah, I was approached by one of the brothers when I was riding a 1934 International Norton at Mallory, and he came up and said that bike was going very well with and it's fitted with a Doll's Egg gearbox. He says, but I've got an actual Manx Doll's Egg gearbox at home, would you be interested? And of course you don't say no to things like that, you know. So I went to have a look at this guy's gearbox, and when I got to his house, he produced just the gearbox shell and no shafts and gears. And I says, oh right, okay. And I says, have you got the gears? He says, oh yes, they're in my race bike. I said, well, where's your race bike? He says, it's in the pantry. And anyway, we went in the kitchen and opened the pantry door, and they're poking out the front wheel of the bike, and there was all cornflake packets on the top of it and everything. And they'd parked it back in 73, and it just stayed there, and I bought it in 2007.
Thank you, Brian. A big hand for that lovely Norton.